Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. Thank you for subscribing, thank you for your comments, thank you for your likes. If you are stopping by to my channel for the first time, thank you for stopping by. Please like, share and subscribe. Today in our tutorial we are going to learn how to draft a shirt gown directly on the fabrics. Drafting on the pattern, we are directly on the fabrics. Let's get started. So as you can see, this is the fabrics I'm using. This is the front I want to cut. I folded it into two. So I've marked my bust point, which is 11 inches, my waistline 17 inches, hip 26 inches. The full length of the gown is 43 inches. So this is 1.5 for folding in allowance. So we are using the savage because in no African print the length is 45 inches. So we use it as folding in allowance, and our measurement starts from this point. So that what I use to determine my folding is quarter of my hip measurement, because my hip measurement is the biggest circumference of my body. So I use quarter of my hip measurement plus 1 inch for ease and 1 for seam allowance. That is what I use to determine this fold. So now let's get started. The neck width I'm using is I'm using 2.5 inches for my neck width. 2 inches by 3 inches. 2.5 by 3. So then the neck width that we use for the back will still be the same. I'm drafting the front now. I'm drafting the front. So when I'm done drafting the front, we'll go to the back. So now I'm giving it my curve, the curve I want. So now I will now input my shoulder measurement, 8.5 inches here. So from this 8.5 inches, now I'll come down with my shoulder slope of 1 inch. 1 inch here. This is my shoulder slope. I'll connect it to this neck width. So that now the shoulder I'm working with is 8.5. So from here I will get my shoulder measurement of 8.5 here. Then I will get the middle of this 8.5, which is 4.25. That's this point. So I will go in here by 0.75. That is a 3/4 inch here, this place. So from there I will connect. I will get my curve for my shoulder, for my armhole, this way. Then from there also, so from here also I will get my curve. So now to my bust, the bust I'm working with is 42 inches divided by 4 is 10.5, sorry, plus 1 inch is allowance, that is 11.5, plus 1 inch, so in that 12.5. So I'm going to input 12.5 on this place. Then my waist is 40 divided by 4 is 10, plus 1 inch is and 1 inch seam allowance, that's 12. So I'm going to input 12 here. So the hip I'm working with is 50, that's 12.5 when you divide it by 4, plus 1 inch is allowance and 1 inch sewing allowance, that's 14.5. So I'm going to input 14.5 here. This is my 14.5. So I'm also going to input the 14.5 and this my full length here. I'll bring it at 14.5 also here. So I have to connect. So from my waist, I'll connect to my hip with my curve. This way. Then also this I'll connect. Is it? So here I will take it down straight. So now we are done with the cutting of the front. But you know that when you're making a shirt gown, we always remove 1 inch from the length of the front. So what we'll do now, from this our coming down of 1 inch, we'll also remove 1 inch. So that means it will be here. This is our new this thing now, our new shoulder line now. So we'll connect it this way. We have removed 1 inch. This 1 inch we remove, we'll add it to the back. So now that we have removed 1 inch, now we will not cut from here. We will step up by ½ an inch for our joining. So I'm going to, if I'm cutting now, I'm cutting from ½ an inch here for shoulder joining. Yeah, I'm cutting from the ½ an inch. Now we are going to cut this out now. So here, remember, you always fold before you cut, so that when you are folding in after the sewing, everything will be equal. Now to the back. This is the I first minus 2 inches. See, I first measured this up. So measurements now are starting from this point. I hope you are seeing it. From this 2 inches is what we use to augment the one we remove from the front. So our measurement from here, I got my 11 inches, 17 inches waist, 26 inches hip, then the full length, which is 41. Now the width of my neck for the back still remains 2.5. See where I'm measuring my 2.5 here at this point, not here. Yeah, so 2.5 by, I'm using 1 inch the back. I'm going to cover. This is it. So from there now, I will measure my shoulder of 8.5 inches, which is here. From this, my shoulder of 8.5 inches, I will come down by 1 inch, which is this point. Yeah. So I will connect it to that my neck width with a ruler this way. Then from this point now, I will get my armhole of 8.5. So my armhole, I'll also get the mid of this 8.5, which is 4.25. From there, I will take curve, my armhole curve. That's it. So now I'm going to input my body measurement. Bust 42 divided by 4 is 10.5 plus 1 inch is and 1 inch sewing allowance, that is 12.5. So I'm measuring 12.5 now. This is 12.5. My waist is 40 divided by 4 is 10 plus 1 inch is and 1 inch sewing allowance, that is 12. My hip is 50, that is 12.5 plus 1 inch sewing and 1 inch ease, that is 14.5. So these are 14.5. Then the same 14.5, I will bring it down to my hem. 14.5. I want to reconfirm. Good. So now I'm going to connect the points. Then from there to the hip, then from the hip I'll come down with a straight line to the hem. So I'm trying to blend it here. So this is it, and also here. So now I'm going to cut it out. Now before I cut it out, remember at the front we minus 1 inch. So that 1 inch that we minus at the front, now we are going to bring it back here. But we are going to bring in 2 inches here. But we are not bringing in 2 inches, we bring 2.5 because we use half for joining. So what it means is that from this we measure 2.5 up. From this our shoulder slope now, I'll measure 2.5 up, which is this point. So that means we are sloping with half. Now it's supposed to be 1 inch slope, but we are using half to join. That's why we are having only one remaining here. So now also our neckline, we have to also extend it this way and connect it. So now we have to connect the slant because our shoulder will not be straight. This way. So now I'm cutting from this point, not here again. So our shoulder still remains 8.5 inches. You confirm, always confirm, reconfirm 8.5 inches. So now I'm going to cut this out. If you want your back to be longer than the front, what you do is they extend the full length with how many inches you want to add. Now the neck. Also the slant. So this is the back now. You can see by the time you place them side by side, this is what we have. So when you sew it now, this back, by the time you sew it, this back will fold in this way. That's it. So now the next thing that we are going to cut now is the collar. Now to the bottom placket. The bottom placket I'm using, I'm going to attach it. So because of the bottom placket, this our center front, we will slit it into two. But if you don't want to attach yours, what it means is that you will first measure 3 inches here, or 2.5. You measure 2.5 is better. Measure 2.5 out first. Then from that 2.5 line is where you start your actual measurement at the center front. Like for example, let me just show you an example with the back. What it means is that you measure 2.5. You can measure it and fold it in this way. Then your actual measurement now starts. This one that you folded in will stand as a bottom placket, but I don't want to do it that way. I'm using this. This is 3 inches by the length of this gown. You can see it. So I'm going to cut it open. It's on fold. I'll cut it open. I will also cut open my center front. Then that's where I will attach it. Okay, this is what I'll be using for my placket. Like I said, what I have here is 3 inches. See it? I will need 1/2 inch to join it to my cloth. I will use 1/2 inch to close it up, so it will remain 2. That 2 inches, I'll fold it into 2 this way, it will be 1 inch. My placket will end up being 1 inch. So now I have ironed interface on it because I want it to have to be stable. So now what I will do now, this is the one part of my front. This is one part of my front. So I will put this my placket on it, right side facing the wrong side this way. Then I will sew it with 1/2 inch. Then I will turn it to the other side and top stitch with 1/2 inch. Okay, I'm done joining my placket. See it, as I said, the right side of my placket is facing the wrong side of my fabric. So you can see I've run the stitch with 1/2 inch. I've also used iron to fold in 1/2 inch here that I will use to top stitch. So what I will do now, I will turn to the right side of the fabric this way, and this my seam here, I will bring it inside. Look at the way I push it towards the placket. I will give it a hot press so that it will relax. Then I will fold in my placket this way so that I can trim my neckline very well. I can trim the neckline very well. You fold from the wrong side so that you can trim it very well, so that everything will be equal. I hope you are seeing what I'm doing. You see it? So I have to trim here now. I will cut it off. I want to put it in such a way you will see it very well. I'm cutting this off now. So that it will align very well. So I've cut it off. It's okay now. So I will open to the right side. Then I'll push this way. Then this I'll fold it into 2 so that I will top stitch it here this way to get where I will fix my placket. You see what I did? This is my 1 inch now. The remaining 2 inches I folded it into 2 this way. So now I'm going to top stitch on it now. You see the way it is. I will top stitch on it. I will also do same to the second part. Okay, this is a placket. I'm done top stitching it. I've also done some sew to this one. See how beautiful is it? You see it? This is where our bottom will sit. So now I'm going to join. So what I will do now, I have to put them right side facing right side and join the shoulder together. I will also put this one like this. You know, the placket will sit on each other. I'll also join the shoulder. Okay, I'm done joining the shoulder. So this is what I have. You know that the placket will sit on top of each other this way. If we are going to join this side, but I want to explain something. If you follow here as your shoulder, you are wrong. You know that the back is long and it comes to the front. So what you will do is that you will turn it right side facing each other when you want to join the sides. You turn it right side facing each other this way. This is it. Also arrange your placket on top of each other this way. So see, this way, you see the back is longer now. Are you seeing it? So what you arrange it this way, make sure that your armhole is equal here. Make sure that this down here is equal. Then you stitch with sewing allowance down and also do same to this place. Okay, I want to open it a little by the two sides. So what I did here now is I went up here by 5 inches. Then I got my nipple to nipple, which is 5 inches. This is my bust point line, 5 inches. So I have to connect it from here to that my curve. So now I'm going to cut it open from there. So by the time I open it from my side, we have this type of effect. Okay, now I'm cutting it on my fabrics, and you can see I've added my seam allowance on here and on this side. I did so on this one, so this way and this way. So now I'm going to cut it out. My fabrics is on fold, and I use pin to hold it down so that it won't shift. So now I'll cut collar, and I'm cutting the collar. So this is for the collar. So now I'm cutting the collar stand. So this is it. I'm done cutting it out. So I'm going to use this hairstay now to gum on it so that I'll give it weight. I'll gum it this hairstay and also put my gum stay on it. So then after that we'll sew. Okay, I'm done ironing interface. Like you will cut two of each pattern. The collar. I've ironed interface. This is the face material. This is the fabrics of the cloth. Collar pattern. I've also ironed it here. So I'm going to put them right side facing each other. Right side facing each other. I'm going to sew this collar now. I'm going to sew it like this side, this way, and also this way. Then the collar stand I also have two pieces. surface material. This is the fabric. I've also ironed my pattern on it. So let me just sew this now. Sew this way, and this way. Okay, I'm done sewing it now. So what I will do now is, you see at this point now, I'm going to cut here out. This particular point, I'm going to cut it out. I will also cut out this point so that it will relax. I'm not. So after notching it now, the next thing I will do now is to turn it to the right side. See me, I'm notching it now. So I'll turn it to the right side now. You push here out very well. It come out very well. In particular point. You also do same to this side. After that, I'm going to give it a hot press now. Okay, now this is it. I'm going to the sewing machine now to top stitch it this way, and this way. Okay, this is it. I'm done top stitching on it. This is it. So now I've notched the midpoint of this. I've also notched the midpoint of this. So see what I'm going to do now. This is the area that I curved up. So I'm going to place this one on it, right sides facing each other. That's what I'm going to do now. This way, the midpoint must come together to match. Right side facing each other. So I will use this now to put on top of it this way. So I'm going to sew on it this way and this way. I will arrange it and sew. Then after I'll show you. Okay, this is what we have now. I folded in the sewing allowance. I use iron to press it down. I did it on the both sides. So now that I'm done like this, I will now open it up this way. This is what you will have after. This is what you will have after. So now I'm going to attach this to my cloth. So what I will do now is that I will get the mid of this one now. This is the mid of this one, right? This is the mid. I will notch it small here. And this is the cloth. I've also notched the mid of this one. This is the notch here. So I'm going to keep it down this way. On the right side, I'll bring this, match this mid, this notch here with this notch here, make sure that the two of them are aligning together. So I will now arrange it and sew with my allowance and sew it this way and sew it. You see, it's exactly this, the measurement. Have you seen it? I'll do it round. Okay, I'm done attaching it now. You can see it this way. So what I will do now is I will put it this way, then use this. I'll push this inside this way, then use this to top stitch on it. I will top stitch on it. I will also top stitch on this side. So I'm done joining it. This is our color now. This is it. You can see it. This is the end result. So the next thing I'm going to do now is to attach the sleeve. Okay guys, this is the outcome of our shirt gown. You can give it a trial. If you have not subscribed to my channel, please do so. Subscribe to my channel, and if you have any suggestion or any advice, you can drop it at the comment section. Thank you.